All right, good evening. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. I haven't changed my name yet there, so sorry. It's me, Dustin. Hopefully you guys are having a good day and a good week. Getting ready for the holiday this weekend. Remember, the market is closed on Thursday, and it will be a half day on Friday. And pretty much tomorrow it's probably going to seem like there's nobody around. It's the start of the season where volume starts to dry up. So not such a big deal for the investors, a little bit more of a issue for the day traders. You should be able to see a screen. Let's get started with that, actually. Yeah, there we go. The screen is up. We're going to talk about a few things tonight, and we'll be on our way. First things first, markets had a good couple days. Today was a little bit quiet, I guess. Finished about mixed. Our portfolio has had a good couple days. We were able to pick up a few more names. And I wanted to follow up with some of the things we talked about last week, mainly the logo play, how we had many sectors and symbols that we talked about the three. Come on. Yeah, we talked about the three strategies that we look for. I've got the Spiders weekly chart down here at the bottom. We've got the OIH at the top. We talked about the GDX and some of the other sectors as well. We have many sectors presenting us with these three strategies triggering, and so we were talking about where do you get in? At what point do we decide it's time to either play the sector ETF or the individual symbols? And so we said, okay, well, once you have the three strategies there, you go down to your line chart, and what we're actually looking for is for everybody else to try to pick the bottom. We're going to skip that, and we're looking for what we call, well, the Trading Wings logo. Right? You can see it right there. And so when we said when we have the second part of the logo start to go up and through the middle of the W there, that's the entry price. Now, one question that came up in an email was, how do you find the middle price on the line chart? Some platforms actually, you should just be able to hover over it and get a roundabout number. Remember, in investing, the individual pennies, that doesn't matter. Don't kill yourself if you don't get filled right to the penny. Leave that for the day traders. But basically what we're looking at is you have to remember a line chart is always plotting the closing price. So throughout the day, if you happen to look at it, you're just going to see whatever price is there. When the market closes, you're going to see the closing price. So if you ever use your line chart, make sure you use the closing price. So like in this example, if you look to the box there on the left, you'll see the closing price is $36.99 on this day. So you would say that an entry is possible at that 99 or above it. That would be the point where the price goes through the middle of our logo. Okay. One example would be the SLB that we talked about. Actually, picture perfect little logo. I mean, it's very obvious that you see the W in our logo right here. And so what we did is said the entry price will be right over the closing price of the middle of the W. All right, and so to just keep it that simple. No need to get any more creative than that. Now, so we were able to get SLB. PKI was one that we've been waiting for a few days here to get our entry on, and we got that. Remember, that was the trend line, the trend line players. We were buying it on the break of that trend line. So you can see here on the daily chart. Our goal was to buy it once we were above that trend line. Okay, and some people would say, oh, that's a bounce off the 50-day. That's fine. That's what we're looking at there. And remember, this goes back a couple weeks now where when the market's in pullback mode, and you go over here, you have two choices. Remember, you can pick a short. When we start going through this pullback on the weekly chart, you can either look for shorts, which we did on the last go-around. We didn't do any this time. Or you can sit back and watch the best of the best stocks that are out there. And PKI was one of them. So we have a symbol that's very much holding its uptrend while the market broke its uptrend. And so we were waiting for an entry on that, and hopefully we do okay from here. So that's PKI. Okay, let me get rid of the thing there. Okay, and then the other one was CAM. Okay, not a picture perfect logo play, but we got what we were looking for right here. Okay, we already had a logo play, and so we were trying to get that second one. You could see it there. So we came up again using the closing price of the middle of the logo just to give us a reference point. Right? Ideally, now that you have the logo play, you can just hop in or wait for the next one. Right? So in this case, we used that closing price of the other day, and that's another one. Now, question that came up was we had a good gap yesterday, right? The market gapped up nicely. What happens if we gap up and above the trigger price? So let's say in this case, well, let's use one. I'm going to come back to this one in a second. Let's use a symbol that gapped up or quite a bit. We'll just use the spiders then, I guess. Yeah, let's put CAM up on the top. I'm going to use spiders down here at the bottom. So this tail is actually not supposed to be there. So that's not a true tail. I'm not sure why that's there. So you can see that we started the week with a gap up, okay, and we had a really good day. What happens if our entry was, say, at 136 and we gap well above that at 138? Right? Do we still buy the stock, or do we do what? So the idea is, on an individual stock, we don't want to chase it more than 2%, whether A, it gaps up, say 2% or 2.5%, or let's say you go on vacation for a couple of days and a couple of our symbols have triggered and now they're up 3 or 4%. You don't want to jump in there either. Right? You don't want to chase any of these names. So on a gap up that's over 2%, you skip it. We'll see if it pulls back. Depending on where the gap is, it might be a sell-off day. It might take a few days to pull back. We don't really want to chase a symbol and pay 2% more than we have to. So we always keep our 1 to 2% limits right in there. That's as far as we're willing to go. There are, like I said, there are times where maybe you come back from a vacation or something, you see there was a recent play that we took that's up 2 or 3%. That's fine, just as long as it's not over 2%. You don't want to chase those. Now, what do you do if you have to work and you can't sit in front of the computer each day? Well, then what you're going to do is, most people are familiar with different types of orders that you can place, but what you're going to do is actually place a buy stop limit order. And going back to this example here, let's say the trigger price is 136. It gaps above that, well above that, to 138, right? What you're going to do is say, okay, the trigger price is 136. So when you hit your buy stop, depending on the platform you're using, when you enter the trigger price for your buy stop limit, you're going to put our trigger price as the price. And then a limit, which means how far are you willing to chase it, you can put your 1 or 2% in there. So I'm not going to do the math, but let's say the entry is 136 and you want to chase it to 137. Right? So in the event that it gaps up somewhere in there, you might get filled. If it gaps up above and beyond that, there's no order. Right? You just come back and you go, oh, I missed it. No big deal. So then you have the option of either placing a standard limit order, should it pull back and then fill on the way back, similar to what Cam did here. Cam pulled back today. Or you can just leave it and say, fine, I'll wait for the next one, and I'll wait for the next logo play. Okay, so many people like to place that buy stop limit order anyways. They see at night or they see in the morning the ideas that we're looking at or that we've been watching. And let's say like here, so say for Cam, say you missed Cam. See how you have another logo play setting up here? So you're sitting at home, there's not much you can do. You can't buy it now, but you go, well, what if it does that again? All right, I can hop into that play. So at night, what you can do, you can just say, okay, well, there's a closing price there. Closing price is 53.37. So you could put your buy at 53.37, your buy stop limit, so the trigger price would be at 37, and then put something, like a 1% limit order in there. So then, if by chance this gaps up to, let's say 55 tomorrow, you don't pick it up. You don't chase it. Okay? And it's not a very frequent thing. Most of the time, we're gonna pick our entry the next day, or two. It's either gonna run up there, or pull back away from it. So usually it's not an issue, but that helps you out in those big gap up days. So that should take care of that. One thing I want to point out, this NWL, I didn't see it first thing this morning. We're trying to hit our first target of $22 on this one. I don't think this is a real tick either, because I have my order to sell 3/4 right here at this 22, and I didn't get filled. It didn't trigger an order, so I'm betting this is a bad tick. So I thought I'd just throw it out there and see if anybody got filled up there, then we'd know, all right, that was a real thing. If you look on the 1-minute chart even, it just fills right away. So I think it was just one order up there. It didn't even you neither? Okay, we're good then. Yeah, so that was just fake. So just keep an eye on it. We're headed up to our $22 as our first target on that. Let's take a look real quick. So remember, we're taking 3/4 off there. That gives us almost 11.5% on that first, on 3/4 position, and then we'll see about the rest of it going forward. Cool. I just noticed that one today that stuck out. CRE, still very strong. One thing I want to point out here, those of you that are not in CRE, we've had it since back here, and it's doing okay. I had a good uptrend, held in there pretty good during this market pullback. If we get a logo play from here, see how you can kind of start seeing them show up on the chart. Once you get into one of them, you check it out, you go, oh man, tomorrow it could be a logo play again. Basically, that just puts you back over $31. So if you do not have CRE and want to play along, there's an opportunity for you to be a part of that. What we're going to use it for is we'll say if we get another logo play from here, we're just going to raise our stop. Right? We're going to reduce our risk on that. So right now on CRE, we have a 4% stop loss. We've raised it up once, 28.32. And so we'll say if we get another logo play, we're just going to tighten it up, probably up to like 29. Let's see where that puts us real quick. Real quick. Well, yeah, we'll be down to about a 2% stop loss on that one. So the most we'll be able to lose will be 2%. Don't do it yet. Let's see if we get our logo play first. But that's good. So we'll keep that in mind there. Remember, if you're playing along with SLB, PKI, or CAM, because the market is still in a downtrend, we are using our max stop loss, which is 8%. Occasionally we'll do 10, but there's no need for any on these symbols. So we're saying our max stop loss 8%. We're sticking with that for right now. Let's see real quick. Just want to update our spreadsheet while we're here. I don't mean to whine or anything, but I'm in Florida. It's cold. I'm sure most people are. You guys are all over the place. Anybody more north than me, I get it. I have no right to complain. Okay, cool. So I know. I'll stop. Yeah, CRE. No, so we're not going to adjust our CRE stop yet. Okay, we got 4% in it as of a little over 4% now. We want to see that logo play first. And really, I mean, you know what that is. Those are just new people joining this party. CRE is doing well. It's a semiconductor name, and everybody likes this one. So we really haven't seen any selling with volume here. And so we're going to hang on to that one, but don't raise the stop yet. NWL, just mentioned we're working on hitting that stop, our first target. So let's stick with that. Let me move this guy down here. There we go. Okay, and then our other ones, those are our long-term plays that we're still hanging in there. We've got BTU. We just have our 1/4 position. We've already hit our first target. So we'll look at that in a second. Still have 11% on the back quarter. And then GIS. That price is wrong. Let's put that in there. Okay, GIS, our last quarter, only 2%, 2.5% now on that one. We'll see if we get that one going. I do want to take a look real quick. The past couple days, if you're in this GIS with us, We've had it for a while since this breakout over here, and we hit our first target real quick from that breakout. But as you can see, it's been pretty quiet. The good news is it has been in a wider range during this market pullback, and the best way to illustrate it, I know yeah, John was asking about this one. The best way to illustrate it here is looking at the weekly, right? Remember, the first target that we're looking for, we always have two targets. The first target we're going to find on our daily chart. The second target we're going to find on our weekly or higher chart, right? Because we're willing to hang on to that piece longer because it's not taking up a large chunk of our capital. So the good news on the GIS is you can see the strength, right? Market's down, and GIS is held in a pretty nasty but wide range. And as we go back in history, we go, well, this is not indicative of some new trading patterns of GIS. It's just how it trades, right? See how it's always in a wider, it's a bigger mover. So we're okay with that. If something changes all of a sudden, we're gonna hopefully adjust as well. Point being, the past 5-6 days have been really good. I've come off the low of the range again, and this time hopefully we get some volume. See it? To push us up and over those highs. All right. And even though, see this guy here, this will trip you up. Take a look at this. Even though you see this, you go, oh, I see one of your logos right there. But this one made a lower low. See how I made the lower low? Don't mess with that one. Even if you'll see these every now and then. Let them go. It's no different than the breakout that pulls back, psychs everybody out, and then takes off again. You let those go. Don't try to master 100% of them. That's why we're so picky about it's got to have that higher low. You do much better. You didn't do CAM or SLB. No problem. Yeah, like we were talking about there a minute ago. Let's go back here. So what you do is, going forward, where's my blue? There we go. So the first logo play is here. Okay, this is the first one that we've had at all since we have our 3 market participants, right? We talked about this one last time, or 2 times ago. We have our pullback down into price support here, right there. We have our long-term indicators, right? Though everybody that follows those, they're all excited. And then we have the Fibonacci players that draw these lines on their charts, and they go, wow, right there, just about 50%. So we have all 3. Now what we do is say, okay, we're ready to play, and we look for the logo play. The first one is good, right? We just had that one. You can do that one. And now going forward, you say, okay, well, I might have to wait just a few more days, but maybe we'll get another one. And it's just this repetitious cycle. We go up, and then we would drift around for a little bit, and then we'll get another one. And it's that same cycle. And as long as we have, you see on your weekly chart, as long as you see, even if it's slow, little progress to the upside, you're going to have your long-term indicators starting to trend up. So everybody's, as long as these guys are headed up, everybody's happy. Okay, so you can play along just like during this whole ride. See this right here? As long as these things are pointing up, the people that look at their indicators, they'll be fine. As soon as it starts to point down, they're going to start taking their money off the table. As soon as we start running into price resistance, those people are going to take their money off the table. As soon as we start getting a Fibonacci run to the upside, they're going to take their money off the table. So in the meantime, you have to remember this is a weekly chart. There will be many, many, many opportunities as we do our thing, even if we only make it back up to this high. So take a look over here and go, wow, well, if I missed the first, here, I'll back it up. This goes back to June. All the way to June. Okay, so let's say we hit our point here. We'll call this June 22nd. 22nd. There we'll say right here. Okay, so as we're heading down, that's June 22nd. And let's say you're looking at it right here. This is June 22nd. You go, okay, all I need now is a logo play and I'm in. See how some time goes by? You go, well, here's another day, 2 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then right in here, a week and a half later, there it is. But you see how that's okay. You would already be on this green bar right there that I just covered up. You'd already be there, so don't feel like you missed it. Remember, if you're a day trader, I know, I read your email. You got to separate from the day trading. Don't feel like you missed it. We're looking at weekly charts here. You always have plenty of time. So as long as now and think about this, these indicator players, that for a minute there, they're like, uh-oh, Is this going to work? Oh, good, it's working out. Right? The Fibonacci players, they got kind of tossed around a little bit. They go, oh, is this going to work? Oh, thank goodness. And then they're not going to sell into it. They're all hanging on. The first selling, see, came when you hit this first price resistance. So as long as we have nothing in the way, we have all that pointing up, we have our Fibonacci lines holding, they'll keep buying. It'll be fine. So you had to wait about a week and a half to get your entry and see how it's still okay. And one thing we'll talk about is someone eventually challenges the idea and says, well, why don't you just buy on the first reversal? You know, why don't you just do that and take your chances with a smaller stop? Maybe you take more stops, but you get a bigger move. And that's fine. That's a strategy. I'll never try to, you know, someone that's making money investing or trading, I never make fun of their strategy. But my argument is we're shooting for about 8 to 10% on the first move, and then we'll play around with the last piece of our position. But if ultimately we're going to make 8 to 10%, does it matter if we make it from here and spend the time trying to guess the bottom, say it's here to here, or does it matter if we get it from our logo play to here? It don't matter, right? If we're all going to get 8 to 10%, I don't care where it comes from. I'd rather take the less headache. By then we can see that everybody bought it, and we feel like, oh, okay, well, if everybody else is buying, look at all the volume, then let's go ahead and jump in with them. So I don't mind buying a little bit later. I like to watch everybody else buy first. The tough part there, I will give you that, Ellie, though, is if you're a day trader, when you see a move start to go, it's like you either missed it or you're in it, you know? Well, with investing, you got time. Try not to let it kill you. I get like that sometimes too, where I'm like, oh, I missed it. I let everybody down. Oh, man. It's all right. So there's the first logo play. Let it go. No problem. If it just wiggles around for a bit, keep in mind that, you know, a week could go by. There could be some time. Let it do its thing. And when you see that next one, you know, I'll try to point it out too for you. We'll just grab the next one. Now, if you grab this one, if you play the first one, you go, okay, I saw the price posted on the page there. I took that first entry. You know, it is a little more aggressive, but you took the first entry. Now, when you see further logo plays, the people that got in here, they'll just try to find ways to reduce the risk on the way up. So other people can jump in as well, but the people that got in early on the first one, they'll reduce the risk. People that get in on the second one, as they see the next one, they'll start reducing risk, and then that way you're not as exposed, especially if there's a few other positions we add. And don't feel like you have to take them all. It's not a big deal. Okay, so those are those. We covered the types of orders to do. I wanted to cover that CRE. I noticed that today. We might get another logo play, and if we do, okay, you know, we'll reduce our risk there as well. NWL's headed up to its target. These two, there's nothing to do. We're just floating around, seeing how much more we can get. If you're new, these here have yet to hit their first target. Obviously, these three are new. But short term means we're still waiting for the short term target, which usually we take 3/4 off, and I plan on keeping it that way. And then long term means we have a 1/4 of that position left, and you know, we just got our stop in and we're just letting it go. See if we can hit a big target. And what happens is, I'll show you, like this BTU. See this BTU, as we get up to targets, I just keep raising them. You know, as long as we're raising our stop, I'll just keep shooting for higher and higher targets. So we're just waiting on these. This GIS, like I said, we hit our early target. We're just seeing if we can get up and above that. So no risk in either of them at the moment. We're guaranteed to make money on both of them, so we just let those float. I don't comment on these very much unless they're close to a stop or close to our big old target that we're shooting for. And that is that. And the goal of this week, too, by the way, is hoping to get any new positions out of the way early. You don't want to be the buyer tomorrow. You know what I mean? If you see one of these plays, if we get another logo play, it's just going to be like CRE. That's pretty much it. Is the only one. Any new ones, they shouldn't be setting up new logo plays. Maybe CAM if we get oil strong again. It's tough to be a buyer on the day before a long holiday like that, and I consider it a long holiday because Friday, it's a half day anyways, and it's really just day traders and computers kind of playing with it. So I was hoping to get these out of the way early. I'm happy with that. And the idea is, everybody else is getting ready to leave for vacation. Don't force anything. I think we're in good shape. The market is responding. You can already see, remember we talked on Thursday, why was the market going to bounce there? It's not because of anybody's thoughts or, the fiscal cliff happiness and all that. They're just legitimate strategies triggering in here that everybody loves to play or play at least one of them. They're very popular, and at the moment we have people attempting this bounce here. So if the market bounces a week or two, turns around and rolls over, who do you think just got stopped out? Well, probably some of us, some of our plays, but you have your Fibonacci players, they're going to get stopped out. Long-term indicator players, they're going to be stopped out. And if these people are using this price support over here, they're stopped out as well. So you're definitely not alone trying this bounce here. And that's always a good feeling. Yeah, very true. Very true. Doesn't matter the thought behind it. As long as you have a reason to buy, a reason to sell, and you're not the only one buying and selling, that's a good thing. As we're talking here, the market's up a little bit overnight, but all that can change real quick. Yeah, just up a little bit. No big deal. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. I wanted to make sure, Ellie, you still here? Yeah, I want to make sure I did. Are you good? Make sure I got your question. Okay, cool. Easy peasy. Well, we will not be having our class on Thursday. It is Thanksgiving. So I will not talk to you guys until next speak to you till next Tuesday. Letter and everything will be out on Monday, and we'll update the page tomorrow and Friday. Don't expect. There won't be any new plays. I'll just be updating if we hit any targets or anything like that. So I'll talk to you guys. Have a great Thanksgiving. Should you be in the States and be celebrating? Those of you that are on the other side of the world, just know that we will be closed over here in the States. We do celebrate Thanksgiving on Thursdays. The market is closed, and Friday the market will only be open a half day, which is a dangerous day to be trading. So take it easy. Enjoy some quiet time over there. And yeah, the rest of you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe. Don't eat too much. I'll take care of that for you. I'll take the screen down and shut it down. Enjoy. Good night.